أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Last week we had discussed without slides the subject matter of divorce. And then I was asked that we may discuss it with slides also. So that is why I have today brought some slides, and I will try to complete this within about, say, 30-35 minutes. And I'll only highlight the major important main points. Otherwise, I'll not be able to finish in time. Divorce is a process of terminating the matrimonial bond. The matrimonial bond is also called social contract in legal terms, and in religious terms, it is called a nikah. So, divorce is a process of terminating the social contract, which is called nikah, which is called the matrimonial bond. And settlement is not just one step that one terminates, but along with that, what is important is settlement. Settlement of separation between husband and wife, including matters relating to children, property, and I'm repeating and emphasizing maintenance. Maintenance is also one of the important elements. And for example, there are many other aspects, but for example, when they settle matters regarding children, it includes custody, guardianship, visitation, access, parenting. This is the most important part while deciding the point pertaining to the children. And the court, the law in the civilized countries demands that the parents, the court, everybody in the society has to look to the best interest of the child in deciding the parenting. And this parenting will include all other things which we have highlighted here. And maintenance, if she is vulnerable, according to Quran, not only according to the laws in the civilized world, what they call themselves as the civilized world. If she is vulnerable, she has lived for long with the husband, or she has lived little time, but she has a small kid, or she is not keeping well, or there are so many other factors that she is vulnerable, the maintenance should be for longer period. And according to the Quran, only not according to the Western laws, according to the Quran, it should be for a longer period. Maybe it is for life. Depends. In certain Muslim countries, this is being practiced. For example, in the Middle East, it is in many laws, in the laws of many countries, where they grant maintenance beyond the time of the iddah. Sometimes 1 year, 2 years, whole of life. Now, divorce is well worked out settlement, not abrupt severance or accident. The divorce is not an accident. It is a well worked out settlement. I'm not taking time in explanations, but I'm taking time in emphasizing the points because they are very important. But if there is an amicable settlement, they can do that. It's not always necessary to go for a fight. Amicable settlement between themselves, and such settlement is the best. This is Quran, Surah An-Nisa. That amicable settlement, they can recite it in one sitting, in one session. The talaq can take place in one session. writing one document, saying once, if it is amicable, mubarak, mutual, it can be done. It is a process of settlement. And Quran says settlement is the best. This is the ayah. If settlement on all matters, including children, property, liabilities, responsibilities, is not mutually agreed, if not mutually agreed, this is if not mutually agreed, and one partner disputes it, it is not acceptable to one partner the way it is being announced or it is being implemented. The effective and valid settlement can only be made by the court. Then it will not be just the pronouncement by the person who is holding the aqd in his hand or in her hand. Then it will be decided by the court. Otherwise, it will not take effect. It will not be divorce. Divorce cancels legal rights, which were created because of nikah. Divorce cancels legal rights and responsibilities between husband and wife, which was created when they signed the nikah document, when they accepted the nikah. These rights and responsibilities were created between husband and wife under the existing bond, under that bond of the nikah. But divorce divorce, this is very important. Divorce brings in new set of rights and responsibilities. We just don't understand this, we just ignore it. When the divorce takes place, then the divorce brings in, like nikah, it brings in, for example, you have a partnership, you have a contract, you have to cancel it. And when you cancel the contract, it again has stipulations, under the rules, under the law, it has certain responsibilities, how it will take place. Divorce brings in new set of rights and responsibilities by mutual or court settlement, through mediation or by court settlement, or through mutual settlement. New set of rights and responsibilities is created, how to deal with the parenting matters of the children, property, maintenance. A new set of rules comes in. It's not a void, it's not a vacuum. In consequence to marital bond, nikah, when the nikah is made, it's not just the mutual, physical, lustful relationship between the husband and wife. But what it does, it creates, it evolves such liabilities and responsibilities as husband and wife. And Quran also points out towards those that once you have gone in, once you have created such intimacy, how can you then behave irresponsibly and obligations which cannot vanish or cannot be voided even on termination of matrimonial bond? Kindly note it down. Tell your children whom you are getting married, who come to tell that I'm within 2 days, within 2 years, I'm going to divorce, I'm divorcing now, that the nikah, this contract creates liabilities, responsibilities, which go beyond, in their effect, which go beyond the lifetime of the nikah nama, of the matrimonial bond. Even if the divorce takes place, there are certain responsibilities and liabilities, they will continue. For example, children, for example, maintenance, or any vows made. They are also part of the contract. They will continue. They are not voided. In Muslim countries, unfortunately, mainly in Muslim countries, most of divorces are taking place off the register of the state. outside the jurisdiction of state, under priests, mullahs, Maulvis, rabbis, and attending issues are not compulsorily subjected to settlement between the parties by a third party, by a court, for example. They are not being subjected to compulsory settlement. Compulsory settlement. Consequently, what is happening? Families are utterly ruined forever, and the gravest harm is done to the children forever, and that goes into generations. There is the wrong perception that husband can unilaterally end marriage just by pronouncing word of talaq. Pronouncement is not talaq. It is one of the ingredients of talaq. Without considering legality or morality of the social contract or rights of the other partner. In the social contract, in the partnership, there are rights of other parties also, other partner also. And they divorce without regard to the validity, effectivity, procedure, conditions, as laid down in the Quran and Sunnah. And these are some of the ayat, and some of the hadiths. However, Supreme Court recently of India, Supreme Court of India, they have banned what is notoriously called triple talaq. They have banned it. Now the court will decide it. And that is the best thing which they have done in the case of Muslim law there. Marriage is social contract. This we have to understand again. Women at the time of marriage or subsequently, by mutual consent, can secure right of divorce. Well, that is called tafweez. And she can exercise it, and it is irrevocable. Husband cannot withdraw it consequently. And she then holds the aqd in her hand. So when the talaq takes place, the judge has to see that who holds the aqd in his hand or in her hand. This is also very important to note. There are cases of mutual consent in which they divorce and then the people come with appeal, their relations, they come with appeal. In mutual consent, divorce cannot be appealed. And in some countries, it takes effect after 6 months. If there is a mutual consent divorce, it will take, again, they give time. Yes, it is mutual consent. Even here also, there's mutual consent, but still there's a cooling of time. And the Quran has provided that. If one partner does not agree to the divorce in any or some manner, the court will decide the matter. I've already stated. On examination of verses which I have shown above, it emerges that talaq comprises following compulsory components, ingredients. I'm repeating, in fact. Pronouncement of talaq, written or verbal. Conditions. Dr. Mamdou Salama preferred to place conditions before the procedure. Conditions, procedure, validity, effect or effectivity. The whole procedure has to be compulsorily followed up to the last divorce if taking place after the two divorces, if available. Every time, which means in simple words, every time the same process has to be followed. And it is time bound. Like zihar, which was condemned by the Quran, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, it was condemned. The woman cannot be left in limbo. She cannot be kept in limbo. There are cases, the woman says, and one mufti also discussed with me, that if the divorce is given, say, in 1 year, and the second divorce is not given, not pronounced. One divorce is pronounced today, and the second divorce is pronounced after 2 years. So he counts it as two. the husband counts it as two, and then the third divorce is pronounced after 4 years. So he counts it as three. It's not like that. You perform wuzu, clean hands today, you will clean the mouth tomorrow, and clean the eyes day after tomorrow. That is not wuzu. The responsibilities, the ibadat which have been given in the Quran as a duty, as obedience, these are time bound. Vaktam mokuta. They have to be performed within the given time. When husband and wife fail to reconcile their differences, family committee representing each of them may act as counselors or as conciliators with utmost effort, with utmost effort. And there Allah has promised that if you reconcile sincerely, it's not only that I'll create love between you, but I'll give you an increase in your risk if you reconcile with your spouse. I'll give you increase in your risk in your wealth, in your property. If process of divorce is initiated as a last resort, there are time bound about 3 months options. I'm repeating options. No halala will be required. No third person intervention will be required. It's option between the husband and the wife. They are concerned. Options to reconsider the divorce. That is why the women are prohibited to be turned out from the houses with the hope that the reconciliation may take place anytime. The effort should continue sincerely. And there is hadith about the son of Umar, whether he had given the divorce while fulfilling the necessary condition that women should not be under stressful mental, psychological, or physical situation, which includes menstruation. She cannot be divorced at that time. Divorce is a matter of settlement which can be mutually considered and settled in an environment of peace when she is at peace, because in this case, the divorce is being hit upon her. And these are the ayat and the ahadith which I'm exposing before you. According to interpretation of above verse 65:2, according to interpretation of above verse, there must be witnesses. It is by interpretation that there must be witnesses, but now in the world, in countries where there are legal systems, there must be witnesses to a divorce also. Witnesses to a divorce also, not only to marriage, but to a divorce also. And this is one of the weakest points in our legal system today, without which the divorce is not valid. If one of the partners claims this, then he'll have to go, or she will have to go to the court. This again, I've highlighted this. This again, bringing in witnesses necessarily, compulsorily. This again, this provision of witnesses again grants the husband a final opportunity to reconsider his intention and not finalize the divorce, as it is also an opportunity for the two witnesses who are summoned to witness the divorce, if they are not hostile witnesses, if they are rajulan or imratan from the family, usually being close friends or relatives, to make a final attempt, even at that time, to deter the husband from concluding the divorce. And this is what the judge does. As a judge, if I come to the conclusion that now I have to announce the divorce between them after hearing the case for, say, any number of years, But still, at the end, the judge has to give again more additional time that I have decided, but as a last chance, I'm giving you 3 months. Come after 3 months. And I'll then, at that time, I'll announce the judgment, although I've already finalized it. After 3 months, when they come before him, the judge tells them that even now, if you have reconciled, if you reconcile even now, I'm going to tear off the judgment. You are husband and wife, you can go home as husband and wife. If divorce takes place, it is at most to ensure, I highlighted this, it is at most to ensure generous and compassionate treatment of the divorced woman in addition to guaranteeing her rights and safeguarding her from any harm to which she might be subjected. And she has to be divorced, separated, Sarahan Jamila. The law provides for financial support, custody of her children, maintenance for herself and children. These are the ayat. It's not just recommendation. And Quran uses the words, then you separate them, bimaruf, sarahan jamila, bi ihsan. Now combine these three words, maruf, jamila, and ihsan. It's not only the prescribed maintenance or the comfort which has to be provided, it's much more than that. These are the limits ordained by God. And kindly remember, Tilka Hududullah has been used 14 times in Quran in relation to the human relations. And mainly within that, husband and wife. And all these pronouncements of Tilka Hududullah at the end says that Allah is watching you. When you come back, you will be taken into account. In the world, there may be different types of punishments. But at the end, when the judgment is announced on the day of judgment, there the punishment is only and only by fire. And the different types of punishments have been described there. Azabun alimun. It is different from azabun shadidun. It is different from azabun ikabun. Kindly, conduct research on this and decide. If the right of divorce is secured by wife, I've already said she can exercise it. It's irrevocable and it has to be implemented. A divorcee cannot be expelled from home. I've already mentioned. Even in case of khula, there is a misunderstanding that the dower can be retained by the husband. Yes, it can be retained only on mutual understanding, mutual adjustment, mutual, if she allows by her own sweet will. But kindly keep in mind, read the whole ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I don't like you taking back any portion. Do you want marziyat, raziyat or marziyat? Want to appear before God in that situation? Or you go before God where you did not please Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I don't like it. And then in that ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that once you have been so intimate with her, and very politely, very nicely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said these words in hijab, that you have done everything and now you want to take it by. So the overall interpretation is that it cannot be, it can be, but it should not be. It should not be taken back. At any point, anything which has been given to the wife as a gift should not be taken back. And these are the ayat. And there is also one misunderstanding about divorce, about dawah. Now, this is dawah. If the dawah is not paid, then whatever the fate of the case, khula or talaq or whatever it is, it has to be paid on demand. If it has not been paid and the time is not mentioned, it is payable when the dispute arises. Any dispute arises. It is payable when there's a demand and it cannot wait. It has to be paid. And does not wait for the settlement of the case. It has to be paid immediately. Quran emphasizes significance of commitment to financial responsibilities of husband in marriage relationship. I have mentioned those. Maruf, Maruf, Jamila, Jamilan, and Ihsan. These are again ayat. Financial responsibility. These are more points about dawah, so I'm not going into those details. I think I stop here because I've taken 42 minutes. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك يا ربنا تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وفضلك عن من سواك. اللهم فضلك ورحمتك أعلى كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us, shower us with your blessings, increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends and relatives who have passed away. Oh Allah, grant them your mercy, make their graves garden from heaven, and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. We have our brother Amin, our son Ma'raj, our daughter Aisha Wani, brother Azam, grandson. Oh Allah, grant all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. Oh Allah, we seek from you all of the good, whether we know it or we don't. And we seek your refuge from all evil, whether we know it or we don't. Oh Allah, we have many of our brethren in Palestine and their supporters who are suffering, who are facing barbaric enemies, unjust world and complacent Muslim nation. Oh Allah, grant them victory, heal their trauma, protect their helpless, and grant them lasting peace and prosperity. Oh Allah, we ask with every name you have elected for yourself that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. Subhanallah wa bihamdih. عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.